Good morning, Malta and Gozo, and welcome to another edition of Lovin Daily. I'm your host, Jonathan Chilia, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, Sam Vasallo. And here's a quick rundown of today's episode. Bad weather leads to a ship rescue and a firework factory explosion. 300 Maltese jobs lost in the first week of coronavirus closures. Economy Minister says stimulus package is just the beginning. Questions over whether the O-levels should still be held, and controversy after a bus driver allows passengers to stand. Wow. Sam, how's it going? How's quarantine going for you?
Uh, I'm pulling through. I have just changed out of my night pajamas into my day pajamas. I'm ready to start the day. I'm ready to tell the world about the news. Shall we?
Did you feel that storm last night? That was crazy.
It was insane. My whole room shattered, like rattled a bit.
I mean, I saw videos of him see the flooding, which is something I didn't, I wasn't expecting of just like such a sudden storm. And not only that, but two incidents actually came out of the storm. So a fireworks factory in Zeebrugge actually had a minor explosion. No one was injured, thankfully. But the fireworks factory was struck by lightning due to the storm, which is scary and incredible. Beyond that, last night at 11:30 p.m., a ship rescue had to be undertaken by the AFM, by the Armed Forces of Malta, after a ship split in two and three people, two Egyptians and a Romanian, had to be rescued. So, wow, this storm really did some damage.
Indeed, crazy night, crazy night. Shall we begin with the news?
Yes, yes.
So our first story, Jobs Plus received close to 300 employee termination letters within the first week of COVID-19 closures. Pretty big deal. This has been confirmed by MP Ivan Bartolo and Education and Employment Minister Owen Bonici. As it is, unemployment still stands at around 1,600, but this is
Mhm.
obviously expected to change as we feel the economic effects of COVID-19 as the weeks roll by. Businesses have called for stronger aid to retain employment and prevent mass redundancies. And since the government has said it's going to fork out around €800 per employee for industries that have come to a halt because of the coronavirus, this has, I think, generally been received well. But opposition leader Adrian Delia has pointed out that around 100,000 workers in Malta are being left out of this package.
Yeah.
IT industry, construction, they're set to receive nothing so far. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, just a quick clarification, the fireworks explosion was actually in Zurich, not in Zeebrugge. It was in Zurich. But moving on to your story, yes, I mean, look, this is just the first week of the closures. We're seeing the impact of the coronavirus hitting the economy, and this is just the beginning. We're going to be seeing more and more of this. So from those really 300 jobs, I think as of yesterday, 11 of the people have applied for unemployment benefits. Obviously, you can find all of these stories on lovinmalta.com. But I think, we're going to be seeing more and more of this. And I think we're going to be seeing it in a lot of different industries. As you said, a lot of business owners, a lot of companies were saying, the package doesn't affect them. They're not going to benefit from it. So I think we're going to have to see some developments on this. But what's interesting is yesterday, Lovin Waters' new show, COVID Calls, one of our first guests was Economy Minister Silvio Schembri. And he discussed the new package. And he said, listen, this is just the beginning. They're going to play it by ear. They're going to go day by day, but expect to see more packages aimed at helping Maltese businesses. They said this package was aimed at rescuing the most hard-hit businesses, as it were, and they were not intent on discriminating between any businesses. So I think we're going to be seeing a few more developments in that area.
Definitely. I think Schembri said they're trying to look at it as a case-by-case basis. So we're definitely going to see some more measures rolled out in due time.
But talking about measures, I think something was happening when it comes to the O-level measures.
Oh, yes. So amidst all this coronavirus craziness, students are still left in the dark of whether there are going to be measures in response to their examinations. O levels and A levels are supposed to be held this April, and they have not received any clarification on whether they're going to go on, whether they're going to be cancelled. I can't imagine the pressure. I mean, I did my A levels not that long ago. And that's just stress enough. I can't imagine what that's going to be like for them. So students have actually sent an open letter to Owen Bonici addressing this, asking for the UK system. Essentially, in the UK, all exams have been cancelled, and they will be given grades according to their holistic performance in the year. And if they are not satisfied with this, they get to do a sort of reset in September, which I think is a perfectly adequate measure for this. I don't think students can be doing their exams in summer. There's no way. And they just have to keep going. You know, I mean, they can't waste another year of their life. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I wish a pandemic had hit the world when I was doing my O-levels. That would have been a great excuse. But no, on a serious note, it is a very serious issue. I mean, you do not want a bunch of students packed into enclosed rooms, like tens or hundreds at a time, doing these exams. Let alone the mental pressure that they're going to be having. The students, you know, they have to study already for the exams. The last thing they want to have on their mind is possibly getting sick during it. So what is the what's the UK model? It's they're graded based on performance.
Yeah, so they're basically graded based on their whole performance throughout the year, which I think that's how it should be generally, because how can you put so much weight on 2 hours of your life, you know? So this is one of the measures that the UK has taken, which I agree with a lot. But speaking of measures, seems that there was a bus driver yesterday who had some disciplinary measures.
Yeah, so in another story you can find on lovinwater.com, we have some exclusive footage of some scenes inside a Maltese bus. Happened over the last few days. So basically, a Maltese passenger filmed multiple people standing up inside of a bus, and obviously, as we know, under new precautionary measures to stop the spread of COVID-19. Bus drivers are not supposed to allow any standing passengers, but this bus was full of standing passengers. So obviously, people weren't very happy. Passengers were complaining. It was a bit of a fight as well. And this passenger actually confronted the bus driver as he was leaving and asked him, you know, like, you know, you're breaking the law by allowing these people on the bus. But the bus driver said, listen, these people need to get to work too. What do you want me to do? Leave them there? They're going to be late for work. So I think it's a really interesting discussion, because obviously the bus driver was breaking the law. At the same time, like, workers need to get to work. What do you expect them to get the taxi every morning? I don't think that's very feasible.
Indeed, I can't imagine what it's like. You have one part where, you know, public health is at risk, but these people need to feed their families. You know, not everyone has the luxury of working from home. So I hope the government addresses this issue sooner than later.
So what's interesting is Malta Public Transport have actually responded to the video and the incident. They said they've identified the driver in question. They've taken disciplinary action against the driver, and they've promised to beef up further disciplinary measures to make sure that drivers don't flaunt the law in future, which is a really great step from MPT. But still, I feel like, you know, something needs to be done to make sure that workers who still need to go to work are getting there in time, are not putting themselves at risk, are not putting other people at risk. Obviously, if they cannot work from home, something needs to be done to see how they remain safe while getting their work done. But yeah, talking about COVID-19, I think we have some updates on it, right?
Yes, so yesterday was the highest recorded amount of cases since the outbreak started in Malta. 19 new cases were announced by Superintendent Charmaine Gauci, 7 of which were local transmissions, and 2 of the patients were healthcare workers.
Wow.
This is quite a large number compared to the previous day, where there are only 3 cases announced. I think people got a bit too hopeful that trend was going to stay like that. But this was apparently predicted by Gauci, so they were preparing for it. So it's not too bad news. And in even better news, the 61-year-old patient who was in ITU is no longer in critical condition,
That's awesome.
which is super great. And there's also been announced the two new testing facilities have opened in Malta. Around 400 tests are being done per day, swab tests. These 2 testing facilities are in Luxor, Pembroke, and the VIP lounge of the heliport in Gozo. I didn't know we had a VIP lounge for a heliport, but now I do.
Well, it seems like we don't have it anymore because it's a testing facility now. But yeah, you know, 129 confirmed cases in Malta. But as you said, we've opened up 2 new testing facilities. It's good to see the authorities taking it seriously. I know this week We also got a consignment of about 20,000 new face masks, which was a donation from the Chinese via the Malta Trust Foundation. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw a report this week that said that Malta is the third most tested country in Europe, behind Iceland and Norway. So as small as Malta is, they are clearly taking this challenge on as serious as they can be, which is really, really, really hopeful. Moving on to the end of today's episode, Lovin Malta just relaunched one of its shows. Basically, it's a super fun, super drink-friendly recipe cooking challenge show where our host Matthew Baldacchino will be taking popular dishes around Malta and recreating them in a kitchen himself with a nice glass of wine by his side. Did you see the episode?
Yes, I miss Matt so much. I miss being in the office.
It's a super fun episode. He takes on vegetable dumplings. What did you make of his final product?
I mean, I've never made dumplings before, so I don't know how hard it is. But I mean, they looked edible, and he ate them. He didn't, throw up. So I guess it was a success.
Yeah, you can find the episode on Lovin Malta's Facebook page as well as Lovin Malta's website, lovinmalta.com. I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. From myself and Sam, of course, have a day full of loving.